Hello and thanks for joining us on TVC News at 10. Our top stories tonight. Inspector, we'll bring you the headlines subsequently, but let's turn our attention now to the by-election. Ahead of Saturday by-election, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from midnight till 6 p.m. in the evening on Election Day in all states where elections will be conducted. Those on essential services such as INEC officials, electoral observers, accredited media and observers are exempted during the upcoming runoff and by-elections scheduled to take place across 26 states on Saturday. The IGP has also ordered a ban on all security aids to VIPs and escorts from accompanying their principals to polling booths and collation centers during the election.
The IGP has also ordered a ban on all security aids to VIPs and escorts from accompanying their principals and politicians to polling booths and collation centers during the election. State-established and owned security outfits and organizations, quasi-security units, and privately owned guards and security outfits are also barred from participating in election security management. The movement restrictions, including the ban on VIP aids, escorts, and state security outfits, are crucial measures aimed at preventing any undue interference or intimidation during the electoral process.
Following the dastardly killing of 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti State, the police have deployed helicopter and armored personnel carriers to the southwest state. President Bola Tinubu had ordered the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to ensure the perpetrators are apprehended and caused to face the full wrath of the law. And for more on this, the first Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, joins me on the news. He joins us virtually from the nation's capital. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening. I want to start with the by-election. One of the statements you made earlier was that there will be no transportation from midnight till 6 p.m. on election day. But I'm wondering, I'm sure Nigerians are also wondering, is that in areas where this election will be held, for example, in Sule, Lagos, or is it the entire Lagos state?
Well, the ban affects those areas where the runoff and by-elections will come up on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. But in most cases, you see some of the areas affected, but some of those areas are not affected. But we gave the announcement on time so that people who are not involved or who are not affected will know how to plan their movement. If your area is not involved or is not going to participate in the process, you know how to navigate and to plan your movement, because those areas where we're going to have the process, there will not be movement between 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. And this is clear enough. It's for us to have the information at hand on time, to plan our movement so that we will not run into some of these restriction movement other areas, and we will be able to plan our movement accordingly. Because if you go through some of these affected areas, you may not be allowed to go. And you agree with me that reasonably, where 26 states of the Federation are affected, it's almost all the states, 36 states that are affected, including the Federal Capital Territory, because there's no how some of our states, some of them border one another. And if your state is not affected in any way, and you have a business in the neighboring state that is affected, it's the same thing that is as good as you're affected. So let us just understand this, plan our movement. If there's need for us to avoid passing through some of these affected states, let's stay in our own state or do whatever you want to do within the state. What I know is, for instance, in Lagos State, If you are going from Oyo State, you want to go to Lagos or Ogun State, I don't think Ogun State are very. If you want to go from Ogun State, you want to go to Lagos, definitely there will not be movement for you in certain areas in Lagos. They are going to block the entrance to Lagos State in some areas, and it's going to affect your movement. So we want to appeal to our people that if you don't have anything genuine, serious to do in some of the affected states, it's better we stay within our state if you don't have any business.
Mr. Dejobi, permit me to come in here because I just want us to be very clear. So, for example, I use Lagos, which is a state that I know. For someone, so election is in Surulere. So someone is in Oshodi, they can move around. But as long as they did not cross into Surulere, they are fine. I also want to be sure that that's what you're saying and that your men are aware so that people are not harassed.
Yes, security operatives who are going to man the process in Surulere will not allow unnecessary movement in Surulere. An electorate, you have your voters, your PVC, you want to go and vote, or those that have been exempted from this restriction order. So let us get it straight. If you don't have any business in Surulere, you don't have to participate in the election, there's no need for you to move close to Surulere. So if you are not sure you want to go to Surulere, you know how to move to avoid Surulere territory so that you will not be stopped and to avoid undue conflict. It's for us to have perfect management of this election security so that we will not get it wrong, because we believe that if we have perfect restriction of movement, we checkmate unnecessary movement, we are almost 80-90% perfection and successful in this election security management. That is why the restriction order is very paramount. It's fundamental to us this time around because generally 26 states affected. To me, I see it as almost the whole nation is affected.
Absolutely. But again, I just also want to get clarification on this particular other directive that was given, which is a ban on all, not just the security aids, but on private security aids and then state-owned security outfits. Give us more clarification on that and why there was that ban.
Election security management is basically for federal government security agencies, the military to give civil aid to democratic process. The police is the major security agency that is saddled with this responsibility. We only co-opt other paramilitary agencies to assist us, and we involve the military so that we can have perfect security management during the process. It's a general thing, and this is not the first time we do that. This is not the first time we are making such declaration or announcement. No state-owned or established security outfit or private guard will be allowed to join this election security management. Whether in the west, you are Amotekun, in the east, Abibiagu, or ESN, or any agency in the north, the same thing. We don't want them to come close. And this directive from the Inspector General of Police is clear enough. They are not part of ISIS. ISIS is a body, and we know the members of ISIS. It's only members of ISIS that will partake in this electoral process. So if you are not a member of ISIS, that Intelligence Consultative Committee on Election Security. So if you are not a member, you are not expected.
You're not allowed to participate.
Keep your uniform and go and do your filming or whatever you want to do.
All right. Okay, let's get to Ekiti now, where there was kidnapping some days ago of some students and their teachers as well. We also saw the killing of some monarchs. But the latest report we're getting is that these students are being tortured. What have you heard, and what more updates do you have in that regard?
Well, kidnapping doesn't come easy. We know the victims might be subjected to unpalatable and uncomplimentary things, and it's quite unfortunate. But we have taken the bull by the horn. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has given directive to the Inspector General of Police specifically. This came at a meeting we had at the headquarters today when the governor and the Senate, the majority leader of the Senate of Nigeria, 10th Assembly, came around to have a short meeting with the Inspector General of Police in the office. The President gave this instruction. First came from the presidency, and the President gave directive to the Inspector General of Police. He talked to the governor, he talked to the Senate leaders, all of them, and we had a short meeting today at their quarters in Abuja. So immediately we added additional resources, human and material resources to support what we have on ground. The command and the AIG in charge of Zone 2 command headquarters that controls Ekiti and Ondo states have been doing well in this regard, but because we had a meeting today and we discovered that there's need for us to have additional support for them in Ekiti. And the IGP today, this morning, gave directive and posted a new Assistant Inspector General of Police to Zone 17 in Akure to move immediately to Ekiti and supervise the coordinated operation we are carrying out in Ekiti. At the same time, he has deployed a chopper to give them area support. He has sent additional mobile policemen from the neighboring squadrons, that is Mopo 39 in Osun, Mopo 17 in Akure, and other Mopo 4 from Oyo State to go and give support to them in Ekiti to carry out this rescue operation of the students. The students, about 5 of them, teachers, about 3, and a driver that were kidnapped. And of course, to get the perpetrators, the directive from the president is clear enough that they should get the perpetrators of this desperately hard killing the traditional rulers and kidnapping of these students, which is quite unfortunate. The IGP has sent his condolences to the government and the good people of Ekiti State, particularly members of the family of the affected royal and the monarchs in that place. So we, with what we have on ground, we are going to work, and we expect members of the family members of the victim to work with the police. We discover that most cases we always have problem in communication. We want them to believe in the system. This is what we have been doing, and we can assure them we're still going to add more pep in this area.
And Nigerians are hoping and praying for the rescue of these students. But you know, I just want to quickly go back. We just have like a minute or 30 seconds because people are still confused, and we're getting messages from people who are wondering again for the by-election. I know you've touched on it, but they just want clarity. They're asking, for example, the issue of again Oshodi Surulere, that vehicular movement. Can they take buses? Are they allowed to drive around? Can they take taxis and motorcycles and buses if they live in places like Oshodi Yaba?
Don't pass through some of these areas where we're going to have elections. We want to control movement during the process, and that's why the IGP has given this directive. You just need to understand laws and be on the same page with the police. We don't want to toy with this process because it's very crucial. These are runoff and by-elections. We may not have time to do such again. So we may say this is the time we need to get it right. Just adhere with these simple instructions. Be on the same page with us and understand. It's just for a period of 6 hours. 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. is just 6 hours out of 24 hours. We are taking these hours from you to have a perfect democratic system in Nigeria. These elections will determine so many things. So we want our people to please bear with us, understand this, be on the same page with the police for this period